Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Halayla Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Urkakadash. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son and our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, to the 144,000. Double honor, respect to the apostles and elders in Great Millstone, coming back at you on another lesson. Though they dig into hell, my hand shall take them. Something along those lines. I want to go into this lesson tonight, and I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Let's play this short video.
What's that? Oh, a former Bush official came out saying that they built an underground city secretly for $21 trillion. Okay. Yeah, her name is Catherine Austin Fitts. Now, she says that it's not just your regular just tunnel with a bunch of concrete and it's just kind of plain Jane. No, she said this is a luxury city built under the United States. Okay. She said that these cities even go out under the ocean. Okay. She said that this was built specifically for the rich in case there was an extinction event for humankind. Which leads us to believe that they know something that we don't. She stated that the transportation down there is way more advanced than the transportation we have up here. Oh boy. She said that it has everything we have up here, but it's way nicer, and they even have schools, hospitals, and jails. Oh boy. What's that? Oh.
Yeah, not too long ago, there was an article that came out where over the last several years, the Pentagon has not been able to account for upwards of between $800 and $900 billion. So a lot of that money is earmarked towards top secret and beyond programs. So they're not going to show or have any transparency as to where all the government spending is going. That's just not going to happen. Then you have the space program, the Space Force, underground cities. You have, as he mentioned, many of these secret underground cities are even under the sea. Under the sea. Let's go here. Try to keep this as short as I can. See, right here. One of my subscribers, beloved sister, Alma Yasharala, recommended that I watch this movie on Paradise. So, what is Paradise? Paradise is dubbed as the world's largest underground cities. So they put this stuff right in your face because most people really don't care to follow up on what's going on. Paradise is the world's largest underground city, built right underneath a mountain in Colorado. Agent Collins learns about Paradise after a meeting at the White House, where he was told that the government is preparing for a catastrophic event or a major catastrophe that will result in the end of humanity. So the elites put this stuff in their movies, Hollywood and commercials and all types of little short video clips and sound bites, because this is a part of the agenda or the global reset. When you study the story or the narrative behind the Phoenix bird represents the Luciferians, the elite. that they will rise out of the ashes, bigger, brighter, greater than before, the phoenix bird, so that they believe they can conquer death through their technology. One of those elements of that technology is the advanced underground cities and networks that they're building to escape. And we're only talking about less than 1% of the world's population that are ruling over the earth. Says that the government is preparing for a catastrophe that will result in the end of humanity. Who created the bunker? See? So yeah, I watched a little bit of this. And it's slow starting, but I think it's on either the second or third episode where they show this major, elaborate underground city. One of them, or one of the main cities, was under Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado, or underneath the mountain complex in Colorado. The Cheyenne Mountain complex is a United States Space Force installation and a defensive bunker located in unincorporated El Paso County, Colorado, next to the city of Colorado Springs, at the Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Station, which hosts the activities of several tenant units. So the scriptures are spot on and do not lie. Let's play this short video again.
Oh, a former Bush official came out saying that they built an underground city secretly for $21 trillion. Okay. Yeah, her name is Catherine Austin Fitts. Now, she says that it's not just your regular just tunnel with a bunch of concrete and it's just kind of plain Jane. No, she said this is a luxury city built under the United States. Okay. She said that these cities even go out under the ocean. Okay. She said that this was built specifically for the rich in case there was an extinction event for humankind. Which leads us to believe that they know something that we don't. She stated that the transportation down there is way more advanced than the transportation we have up here. Oh boy. She said that it has everything we have up here, but it's way nicer, and they even have schools, hospitals, and jails. Oh boy. What's that?
So let me show you how accurate the scriptures are. Let's go to Amos 9, verse 1. I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. So the only element that's going to be preserved are the Lord's remnant, elect, that are marked with the blood of the Lamb, that are sealed to the day of redemption, deliverance. Everyone else is slated for judgment, but the elect are covered by the blood of the Lamb. Here's where I wanted to go right here. Amos 9 and 2. Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. The Space Force climbing up to heaven, and the underground city networks, the underground cities under the seas. So the scriptures are describing the last kingdom, their doomsday bunkers in the last days, underground military bunkers, deep underground military bunkers or domes. Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. See, even cities that are underneath the seas, that these devils are building. Though they dig into hell, let's go here to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, somewhere around verse 6. Isaiah 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. See? So they're going to go into just sub-living standard conditions. They're going to go into a low peasant class. So the Lord is making a mockery of the wicked. Here it is, they're trying to build an underground escape or safe haven, trying to run from hell. But austere, severe, extreme conditions are going to meet them, so they can't escape their slavery of peasants, hardcore bondage, being brought down from their high and lofty position. Let's read it again. So though they dig into hell, the Lord's hand is going to take them. That's the house of David led by Yahushua and King David. Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stir up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So this place is going to become the center of destruction. All nations are going to take part in helping to destroy this place. But the other nations are going to be shown limited mercy or limited grace after 1,000 years of servitude. They're going to be shown some limited mercy underneath the Israelites. I want to go here to, let's read this first. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? These other nations making mockery of Edom. The Edomites, they're going to be brought down. So the Lord's hand is going to take them. So when we go back to Amos 9 and 2, though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. So the men of the house of David are going to be activated to be an extension of the Lord's right arm, Yahushua. Because remember, the Israelites are joint heirs and sharing in his glory. And a part of that glory is subduing the other nations, taking them down through battle after being raised up by Yahushua. See, let's go here to Isaiah. Isaiah 41. Who was that right arm, that right hand, right here? Isaiah 41, verse 13. For I am the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. See, I want to show something here. Let's read that again. Isaiah 41, verse 13. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. See, so that's the spirit of Yahushua. raising up or activating the mighty men of the house of David, the chief men, the chief ones. It's right here, Isaiah 41, verse 9. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. So these chief men are the nobles of the house of David. So as in the days of old, the mighty men are going to be activated, raised up. See? Isaiah 41, verse 13. Fear not, thou worm, Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new, sharp threshing instrument, having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. So these mountains are the other nations that are going to be beat down to powder. So when you go back to Isaiah 41, verse 13, For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. So when you go to Sirach 47 and 5, the book of Sirach, chapter 47, verse 6. Let's go to verse 5. For he called upon the Most High Lord. So this is King David. So in the last days, this is going to happen again. The mighty men of the house of David. The entire house of David. Sirach 47 and 5. For he called upon the Most High Lord, and he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior and set up the horn of his people. See? The Israelites. So this is the Spirit of the Lord that's going to take down the wicked elite in their secret caverns, their underground doomsday bunkers, their underground mansions and caves. That right hand is showing us that the glory of Yahushua is going to rest on the men of the house of David. Mighty men. Let's go back to this. Let's go to it. Right here. Amos 9. Let's go to the book of Amos, chapter 9. Trying to remember where I read it at. Right here. Amos 9 and 2. Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. So the elect men are going to be able to conduct interstellar travel with those new bodies. See, that his hand is going to take them. That's the men of the house of David being changed, taking on those new bodies. Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. So even going in the underground, there's space stations, there are secret caverns, there are undersea or cities beneath the depths of the seas. All of these places are going to be found out. Remember, the new bodies are going to enable the men of the house of David to be able to use full capacity of their mind and body under a new immortal change. Let's go back to Sirach 47, verse 5. For he called upon the Most High Lord, and he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior and set up the horn of his people. So this is the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai being delegated down to his men. Fear not, thou worm Jacob. I will make thee a sharp threshing instrument when you read Isaiah 41. New bodies. So the people honored him with 10,000s and praised him in the blessings of the Lord, in that he gave him a crown of glory. So remember, Yahweh Shai is going to give out these crowns that we read about in 2nd Ezra chapter 2. For he destroyed the enemies on every side and brought to naught the Philistines, his adversaries. For he destroyed the enemies on every side and brought to naught the Philistines, his adversaries, and break their horn in sunder unto this day. So what has been is getting ready to repeat itself and play out again on earth. The mighty men of the house of David is going to get fame, praise, and glory through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, with new bodies taking on godhood, lordship, and being able to do miraculous, wonderful, valiant events that is going to astound these nations and put them in total fear when they see these things. Let's go back. Isaiah 41 and 13. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. That's Yahweh Shai. So we're seeing the distinction here. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. So these nations are going to be beat to powder. And it shows some of this in like the Superman movies. Son of Jor-El. Neil, son of Jor-El. You see, Yah Allah. He is of the power. Yah Allah. See, and in that movie, Brightburn, where they show the lasers coming out of the eyes of the young Brightburn man. See? So the elect men are going to take on supernatural power and ability. And they keep putting this stuff out there, so there's something in the records that they are keeping hidden of the mighty men of the house of Jacob, of the house of David, doing great things like this. Because they keep showing it, putting in Hollywood movies, Hollyweird. Anyway, let's go back. So this is nothing new when people are in distress, seeking asylum, seeking hideouts, a runaway dugout cavern, just like under Saul when the Philistines were closing in. 1 Samuel 13, see, verse 6. So the Philistines, let's go to 5. And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the sea, and people which is, and the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And it came up and pitched in Michmash, eastward of Bethaven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in strait, for the people were distressed, when the people did hide themselves in caves and thickets and in rocks and in high places and in pits. So this is nothing new to use beneath the earth as a hideout, as an escape. even when the Israelites were under the stress of the invading Philistine army. Coming in mass as the sand of the seashore. Imagine a massive military coming your direction, kicking up dust. It just looks like a large dust cloud, and the chariots and the horses just stomping on the ground sounds like thunder. It's a terrifying sight to see. And the Philistines gathered together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and pitched in Michmash, eastward from Bethaven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in strait, for the people were distressed, then the people did hide themselves in caves and in thickets and in rocks and in high places and in pits. Let's look up strait. So right now, look at this thing on this side. The wicked global elite are in dire straits. Sar, trouble, afflicted, anguish, enemy, trouble, tribulation, distress. So remember, all of these things are going to turn on the adversaries of the Lord's anointed ones. Why do the people rage and imagine a vain thing against thine anointed? In Psalms chapter 2. So anguish is going to take hold of them. Let's go here. So they're going to hide deep beneath the earth's surface. Look up that movie Paradise on Hulu. They're building it now. They've been building these things for the last 20 plus years or so now. At least the last 30 years. Let's read this. Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah 49:7. And this is a cut. Why y'all keep talking about Esau? Because he is the last ruling empire on the earth prior to the establishment of the Davidic kingdom of the house of David. Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? So they are declining, starting with their enchantment, their witchcraft, their right hand magic, Salakia, their left hand black magic is no longer working. The right hand is Yahweh Shai and the men of the house of David, followed by the remnant elect. So their magic is starting to lose its effectiveness. They're no longer able to enchant the people like they used to. Everything is starting to show more holes than Swiss cheese in their narrative, putting themselves up as the JOOs, God's chosen people, taking the Holy Land, calling the Messiah a so-called white man, painting over all the dark images, whitewashing them, making themselves look like the children of Israel that made the Exodus under Moses. All of the fraud is under the spotlight in these last days. The spotlight being this truth on the world stage. See, right here, Jeremiah 49:8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. So remember, he's going to visit with his right hand, activating the men of David under Yahweh Shai. See, flee ye, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. So they're just feverishly working to hide themselves. So they can no longer do that with their enchantment, their black magic, the occult. And they're literally trying to hide themselves underground. The crimson red criminal, red, first came out red. That all ties back to the criminal, the culprits of the earth. Crimson goes back to criminal, red, the culprits of the earth, Edomites. See? Jeremiah 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So, not hiding themselves right now, the extension of Yahushua, the extension of the Lord's right hand are his elect men that are shedding the light of the glorious gospel on him. And then that's going to manifest into physically taking them out. It is a process to taking this man down. But right now, the prophets are the light of the world, spreading the gospel of Yahushua. But that's going to manifest into a physical takedown, where the Lord is going to visit him. Though they dig into hell, he's going to stretch out his hand and take them down. Let's go to Psalms 89, somewhere around verse 13. The book of Psalms. See, let's get this one. Psalms 89, verse 5. Let's go to 4. Psalms 89, verse 2. For I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Thy faithfulness shall thou establish in the very heavens. So the wicked global elites construct is going to come falling to the earth. But the Lord is going to set up the thrones of the house of David and put crowns on their heads, kings ruling in every quarter of the earth. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David, my servant. Thy seed will I establish forever and build up thy throne to all generations. So the seed of the promise is through Yahushua. That's the key. There is no establishment of an eternal kingdom of righteousness without Yahushua coming to occupy the throne of David, being raised up to the house of David. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David, my servant. Thy seed will I establish forever and build up thy throne to all generations forever. Daniel spoke about this in Daniel chapter 2, towards the bottom. And the heavens shall praise thy wonders, O Lord, thy faithfulness in the congregation of the saints. Wonders, mighty works, and signs. Yahushua told the disciples, greater works than these shall thou do. Greater works than these shall thou do. So the Lord is going to magnify himself through his prophets, his men. So the house of David was created for the Lord's glory. Even Balaam was astounded at the mighty works that he saw in the future of the men of the house of David. See, verse 6. For who in the heaven can be compared unto the Lord? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto the Lord? So the Lord is going to demonstrate an essence of his power through the mighty men of the house of David, the sons of Jacob. Yasharallah, he is a prince of the power. So these are rhetorical questions. Let's go down to verse 13. Thou hast a mighty arm, strong is thy hand, and high is thy right hand. See? So we can see that the Lord is going to make his men weapons of war. The Bible says he's going to make his creature weapons of war. Well, read that. Thou hast a mighty arm, strong is thy hand, and high is thy right hand. Yahweh and the men of the house of David that are going to share in the glory of beating down these hills or governments to chaff, to nothing, to powder. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. See? So the Lord is going to execute that judgment through men that are going to get the reward of the kingdom. No king just going to take a kingdom peacefully. There's no glory in that, no honor in that. He wants to take it as a warrior. Or to Wisdom of Solomon 15. The book of Wisdom of Solomon 15. One moment. Let's try this one. It's the one right here. Wisdom of Solomon 5. Let's go to verse 15. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also, well, I was in the spirit. So part of that reward is judging the nations. Where's that at? Right here. Wisdom of Solomon 3. Right here. Wisdom of Solomon 3, verse 7. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and from like sparks among the stubble, taking on new bodies, being able to go up into the chariot and escorted by chariots of the Lord as well, that are going to be rendering flames of rebuke and fire. Watch this. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. That Daniel talked about. Daniel 2:44 on down, 43 on down. See? So he's going to make his creatures his battle axe, weapons of war, threshing teeth, spoken of in Isaiah 41. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon 5, verse 15. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High. So they're going to be caught up into the chariot of the Lord. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand. For with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. These are all catechisms describing Yahweh Shai, spearheading this event, leading the charge. See, let's go back in case we forgot. Sirach 47, verse 5. For he called upon the Most High Lord, he who, King David. For he called upon the Most High Lord, and he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior and set up the horn of his people. So right now, Goliath are the banking giants, the military giants of the earth today. All the kings of the earth that we read about in Isaiah 14. See? Economic giants, religious giants. So this beast system is a giant, the great red dragon, Rome, Edom. For he called upon the Most High Lord, and he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior and set up the horn of his people. So the people honored him with 10,000s and praised him in the blessings of the Lord, and that he gave him a crown of glory. So the glory comes after the battle, led by Yahushua and King David, the mighty men of the house of David. So a part of that glory is judging these nations to get that crown. But before that, tribulation, persecution, temptation is going to come upon all the earth, and pushing the digital device, the Mot B. For he destroyed the enemies on every side and brought to naught the Philistines his adversaries and brake their horn in sunder unto this day. See, under Saul, the Israelites were hiding in caves. But the wicked elite are going to hide in caves from the house of David during these last days. They're going to be pursued, chased. The Bible says they're going to be chased out of the world, brought down from prominence and rulership. Make this longer than I wanted to. Let's close out here. So this is describing the return of Yahushua. And the empire strikes back. The house of David is going to get their lick back. Isaiah 2. Let's go to verse 18. And the idols he shall utterly abolish. This entire global construct is built on idols. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. So the Lord is coming right in the midst of Armageddon, Hadmagadwan, mountain of troops. He's coming in with a big bang. Ain't no such thing as a big bang theory. That's all BS. The Lord is coming in with a big bang. Judgments of fire and flames of rebuke. So the elite already have underground escape plans, thinking that they can thwart Bible prophecy or dodge the proverbial bullet, their judgment, their destiny to become slaves, and after 1,000 years to be burned from off the face of the earth. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. So their money is not going to save them. Their silver, their gold reserves is not going to save them. Their gods are not going to save them. Isaiah 2 and 21, to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. Nuclear destruction. The Lord is coming. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? So what we need to survive is the breath of life, Yahushua, that came from the Most High. We need our deliverer, Savior, the anointed one, Hamashiach. But man can't save us. So this is all in vain. Carnality.
Have you ever heard of
Digging underground caves, bunkers. There's nothing we can do to escape the judgment of the Lord. But judgment is going to start with Israelites that are not right. You know, that's where judgment starts. BSers. That's why they're going to say, have we not prophesied in thy name? So these are actors that claim to be sincere or in the truth. Actors, hypocrites, bigots. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala and the Bad. We got next, Lord willing. Barakatham. Shalom. Shalom.